Hey, everybody, welcome to the SPYPOINT Podcast. Today, we're joined by Chris Hamm from HHA Sports, and we're going to talk about archery products, innovation, and new things coming out for this fall. And before we get started, I just want to remind everybody to subscribe, review, and join our podcast wherever you consume podcasts. It just helps us grow our audience and the listeners, and just helps everybody follow along with the content that we're bringing to the table. And so, Chris, welcome today. We got some cool topics to discuss, and I'm really looking forward to it.
No, I'm happy to be here. And, as we discussed before we started recording, it's been a struggle to get together after 3-4 weeks of hits and misses. Here we are. So I'm excited to be here and appreciate the opportunity. So
absolutely. And so before we jump into the topics, I got to ask, do you have a good Independence Day?
I did. Nothing too crazy. Some hot dogs and s'mores over the open fire with my in-laws, and a victory for Chase Elliott in the 9 car. I'm a big NASCAR fan, so that made for a special 4th of July, even though the race was literally 2 hours from my house. We didn't go this year, but
okay.
But no, we had a good one, and my food plots got sprayed, and I'm starting to get bucks on camera. Business is picking up, and
listen,
life
good.
Is good, man.
That's as American as you can get. NASCAR, hot dogs, getting ready for hunting season, and spending time with family. That's all good stuff.
You bet. Amen, brother. So
listen, let's talk a little bit about your company. I know you're one of the co-owners of HHA Sports. Before we, get into some of the products, let's just talk a little bit about the history and the evolution of your company, how it started, and, where it has evolved to today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've been in business. 1984 was our first year in business. So I just turned 46. I was 9 years old when my dad started our company.
Okay.
And he had 7 or 8 years of hits and misses of his own, where he was close to breaking through, and then had some misfortunes and wasn't able to make it happen. So it's kind of that classic feel good, rags to riches story. Nice. Where you've got a guy that started with nothing, and now look what we've become. I mean, I think we've maintained our humility over the years, but we're definitely one of the leaders, if not the leader, in sight technology in the archery industry. And I still shake my head every year I walk into the ATA show. It's like, man, we're still number one. I think it was 17 years in a row from archery business, or bow hunting world technically, but it's a fan voted award that we've been recognized as the top single pin site in the country, in the world, for 17 years in a row for a little central Wisconsin.
That's amazing. That really is. I mean, what do you contribute your continued success year over year to? I mean, there's a lot of competition, and there's a lot of companies that have come and go. Some have, weathered the storm, if you will, but for you to be number one for that long, what do you attest it to? Obviously, I'm sure you have a high quality product, but there's more to it than just a quality product.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a formula that my dad put together from day one. I mean, I grew up on that from the time I was 9 years old. So, I mean, I drank the Kool-Aid, so now I pour the Kool-Aid. I mean, we're 100% American made. We make all of our products here in Wisconsin, and source all of our materials in the Midwest. So even in spite of the COVID pandemic, we're not handcuffed by containers being stuck on the shores, because we don't rely on that. There's no water. If there's any water in between our suppliers and our factory, there's a bridge that goes over them.
Okay. Yep.
So sourcing everything here is huge. We make I think we make a very good quality product, and I think our customers will agree with that. And that has to do with the fact that we touch 95% of our stuff in house. We have a few external suppliers, but if there's a production issue, we simply go down the hall or go downstairs and, hey, we got an issue here, let's fix that. So
that's huge.
And it is. And I mean, as a consumer myself, I want to buy American made as much as I can. I want to buy quality products. And then I think the third piece of that equation is the fact that we have 100% lifetime warranty. So, I mean, we've had people, you always hear the horror stories of the guy that, he gets his brand new $1,500 bow, and he's out in the driveway and he accidentally backs over his bow. We've had that happen. And obviously the site, they're tough, but they don't take an F-150 rolling over them. So we've replaced sites like that. So, I mean, our lifetime warranty has really bought us a lot of business over the years. And I think the interesting thing too is that, now we've got some fairly high profile partnerships in the industry with some of the, quote unquote celebrities that we partner with. Those are great. But I mean, up until 10 years ago or so, we didn't have the we weren't where we are today to be able to afford those sponsorships. So we organically built our business for 15 or 20 years before the internet, before social media. It was all grassroots, guys sitting together, having a beer at the bar, and hey, I got one of those HHA sites, you should buy one of those, or rubbing elbows out on the archery range. And I think overall, I think we're good people to deal with. I mean, people, we're just average bow hunters. We put our pants on one leg at a time, just like everybody else, and we treat our customers the way we treat each other. And that's a key to being in a family business. We treat people the way they should be treated. And
I mean, Chris, I think that's, in my opinion, it's somebody that has been in the industry that uses these products, but also as a consumer. We're all consumers at times. And it's that customer service. It's that ability to connect with a company that you feel a part of it, in essence, that to me, that goes a long way. And that is something that has been lost, I think, with many companies that really, put their brand behind just a celebrity or just cool branding or just cool graphics. But it's all those things that you said. And it's that customer service that I think will really win the day over the years. And that's what you guys do. And that, again, that's just something that to me is a lost art in running a business.
For sure. And I mean, we're very fortunate. We've got some great partners, be it on the, supplier side, our dealers. We have long lasting relationships. I mean, we've got, the bank that we work with here in town, we've been with them 25, 30 years. I mean, when we sign up for something, we sign up for something. We're not here for the, Johnny come lately type stuff. We give loyalty, and we want to get that loyalty in return. And
Absolutely.
I think our success over the last almost 40 years, I think, spells to the fact of the kind of people that we are, the kind of products that we make, and the loyalty of our fan base. And I mean, it's just an absolute blessing to to go on social media and see people singing praises about our product, and the continued support. And oh yeah, man, I've got 6 bows. I got an HHA on every one of them. I mean, it's cool. It never gets old.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good for you. So before we get into some of the products, I want to ask you, like, what was the catalyst for your dad to start an archery business in a site, company, years and years ago? I mean, that just doesn't happen. And, without having, some ideas, some creativity, some innovation. So what was running through his mind to say, you know what, I want to do this that many years ago?
Yeah. So dad passed away 2 years ago. It was his July weekend. He passed away on July 3rd. So it was 2 years ago, this past weekend that we lost him. But he, back in the mid to late 60s is when he kind of got the archery bug. So he started shooting traditional bows at that time at a local archery club. And then that was here in central Wisconsin. Well, then in the early 70s, he had to move to Minnesota for work. So I was actually born out in Owatonna, Minnesota. And then we moved back here in 78, I believe. But he worked various manufacturing jobs, but really had this archery bug. And so he started to tinker in the basement, just making different products. And he thought, well, hey, maybe I can do this. He didn't have an engineering degree. He was a businessman by trade, but he had a very creative mind, and he had a passion for archery, and he didn't like working for other people. So those 3 things kind of motivated him to, I'm going to do this. And so many people, unfortunately, never really got to know my dad, especially in this current era of archery that we're in, because he had a heart attack in 1996. And then he only ended up going to one more ATA show.
Oh, really?
I think in like 2000 or 2001. So basically for the last 20 years, a lot of people don't even know, and this is a good Jeopardy trivia question, but HHA Sports actually is Harry, Hamm, and Associates.
Okay.
A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people ask me, what's HHA mean? So, and that's something that we have to do. And again, we talk about being busy, but I want to have a tribute page to my dad on our website.
Good for you.
Just to kind of basically read the story that I'm telling now. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of good video of him from back in the day, but it would be cool to have a video as well. But we want to at least have some pictures and a write up kind of on the Harry Hamm story, because so many people don't know that, and it's obviously near and dear to me, but it's inspiring. And I think people attach to things like that. We're
Absolutely.
not just nothing against private equity, but I mean, thank the Lord, we're still family owned and operated, and so we can really kind of have that TLC that we had 38 years ago to keep running this thing.
No, listen, I love those kind of stories. To me, there's that family loyalty and that legacy. And, he had, the guts to start something and go out and try to build something. And, there's ups and downs with that. And you guys took it and ran with it. And so, paying homage to him and doing something like that, I think is great. And again, it helps people link to the company, that it's not just a product, that it's a legacy, and there's people behind the products as well. So good for you. And I think that would be a great story to tell.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we say, whether it be employees or customers or dealers, I mean, typically once people join the HHA family, they never leave.
Yeah, they never leave. Okay, I see. Okay, good deal.
Not that we don't have that, but it's
sure.
We try to create a family atmosphere.
Absolutely.
People aren't just employees; they're not just dealers. They're part of the Hamm family.
Absolutely. That's great. So now let's shift into some of the Hamm family products for 2021 leading into 22. This fall, what are some of those products? I know the Tetra Sight's something that's becoming really popular and a lot of excitement around it. But what are some other, not only for, if you want to talk about it on the archery shooting side, but also on the hunting side? What are some of those new products that we can look for?
Yeah, so I mean, as far as new stuff, I mean, everybody's known us that knows HHA has known us for the optimizer, which has carried us for a long, long time. And then last year, we completely redesigned the sights. I shouldn't say completely redesigned, but kind of made a 2.0 version in the Tetra family. So that's kind of our premium series. We didn't really do a whole lot new on the sight side this year. The engineers at Hoyt did approach us, and they have a new system that had the sight attachment is with a Picatinny rail on the front. So it's a pretty interesting concept. And so we're one of only 2 or 3 manufacturers in the industry that are making Hoyt specific sights to fit all their new 2021 models. So and we do have some new technologies that we're working on for the next year or so. But then you talk about history. I mean, 1984, the very first product that we made was a folding stabilizer. My dad had an archer approach him at our local archery range, and he said, "Harry, you have to make a stabilizer that will fold so that I don't have to unscrew it out of my bow every time I want to put my bow in the bow case."
Yep.
So, my brother was in tech school at the time for the machine tool program. In fact, I just showed it to one of our employees this afternoon before I hopped on here. But he made that thing in 1983, and that became our first product.
That's crazy. Okay.
And so fast forward 37 years, we just got back into the stabilizer business this year with the Tetra LR stabilizer series. So we've got a fixed 6, 8, and 10-inch stabilizer. We've also got an adjustable 6 to 9. We've got weights. We've got a back bar bracket, slings. So we didn't just get in with one stabilizer. We jumped back into the stabilizer market with both feet, and they've been fairly successful. So I'm pretty excited to see how we can continue to expand that line in the years going forward as well.
Okay. So I'm going to ask, your opinion on, we shift to the sights, and you've got, fixed pin sights, you got single pin sights, you have adjustable sights, multi-pin sights, and over the years, I've tried different types of sights, whether it be for, long distance, hunting mule deer, 60 to 80 yards, or, obviously the whitetail, folks, when we hunt, 20 to 40 yards, you're going to have possibly a different setup and not have the time to adjust your sight. And sometimes you do, but a lot of times you don't. So what is your philosophy on, multi-pin sights versus, a single pin sight? And, and just, I'm curious from your standpoint on, what you have experienced over the years from a manufacturing standpoint, and then applying that to out in the field.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the optimizer is kind of what really brought us into the mainstream. So that was a movable, typically a single pin sight, but you would get people that wanted to shoot a mover with 3 or 4 pins. So we've had various versions of multi-pin sliders over the years as well. And we're the king of the single pin world, if you will. It seems like that's obviously where our bread and butter's at. So we that's where we've kind of put our focus. But the multi-pin we came out with last year has, in my opinion, and I think just from the sales aspect, has been our most successful venture in that to date. So, but it seems more and more people coming around to that single pin technology. And I think, just the advances in the bow speeds have kind of sped that along, obviously. And then, you brought up the question of, what if I have a deer at 40 yards? And what we typically tell people there is, well, set your bow at 25, 27, 28 yards. And if you practice enough, you're going to know, hey, if I've got a deer at 40, you're going to be able to efficiently shoot from 0 to 40 without having to move your sight with the efficiency of today's bows is kind of the angle that I go at there.
No, and listen, I personally like a single pin sight, one, because over the years, my vision has gotten, less and less, and to be able to focus on one thing, when you're in that moment, is, to me, something that just gives me a little bit of confidence. And, again, it allows you to just concentrate on the shot, and sometimes picking up different sights, different pins in a quick situation. Listen, a lot of practice eliminates that. But to me, the less you have to focus on, the better that you can then concentrate on making as good a shot as you possibly can.
No, I agree. I mean, I've been shooting a bow for over 40 years. And I mean, I've always been a single pin. It was pre-fiber optics when I started shooting, but Dad always had one pin on my bow. And I mean, I've talked to a lot of people, especially when you're getting beginners into archery, you don't want to overwhelm them with so much data, and that single pin poking up in that sight picture just makes things easy. And then you throw that in with our tapes. I mean, we've got a very accurate tape system. So I mean, if you've got a deer at 38 yards, roll it to 38, and it's game over if you're good with your equipment. So
okay, no, that's great. So we got stabilizers, we've got, sights, a couple different, variations that you mentioned. Any other products that, that you want to mention and talk about that really, focus on the HHA, family, quality, engineering, and all of that?
Yeah, we did. I think it's been 5 years now. We've been in and out of the arrow rest business for years. We got so focused on sights for the last 20 that was kind of the bulk of where we put our focus. But then we thought, well, hey, we're successful in sights. We can probably get into rest. We can get into stabilizers. So we came out with a drop away rest called the Virtus back in 2017. That's been fairly successful as well. And again, now that we're basically in 3 different categories, it gives us a few more options for expansion into, expanding those lines in future years. So. And then we also have for any crossbow shooters out there, we've got a call it the speed dial, but it's an elevation platform that essentially does the same thing as our single pin sights do. So you don't have to shoot the multi-haired scopes anymore.
Nice.
It's an elevation platform with a wheel on the side that you can dial in from 20 out to 100 yards by the yard. So
now listen, crossbows are becoming more and more popular, and with more states passing, legislation and laws to allow, people to use crossbows during archery season. I think that's a great add to, your arsenal.
Yeah, no, and that product's been in the line for probably 10 or 11 years. And we've come out with kind of a 2.0 version of that as well. And then just recently partnered with Mission. They actually have an exclusive model that you essentially take their pick rail off, and it sinks right into their stock. So it looks like it's integrated. It's right part of the bow. So
Nice. Okay, good deal. So let's talk about the HHA USA Foundation and some of the shoots and that whole part of, the business and the family legacy.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I started back in 2019 is when we formed our 501c3 here in Wisconsin. But back in 2015, 2016, I volunteered for the Honor Flight, which for people that don't know that, it's a nonprofit organization. In fact, this picture over my shoulder is from one of the flights that I was on, but they send World War II, Korea, and Vietnam veterans to DC for a free trip to basically view all the memorials that were built in their honor.
Okay.
So, awesome organization. I'm not a veteran myself, but I consider myself a patriot, and we wouldn't have all the luxuries that we do in this country without the men and the women that serve for us. And so
Amen.
Something that God just put on my heart. And so I was driving home from the airport one night after a night of volunteering, and I thought, well, man, I've got a pretty successful archery business. How can I leverage that to raise money for this cause that I love so much? And so hit up our local archery range, one up where the flight takes off, and then a local archery shop. And we put on 3 shoots in 2017, and simply hitting up manufacturers like yourself, which thank you again for this year becoming a sponsor of HHA USA and donating some cameras to us. So, but yeah, we were able to raise $15,000 in 2017. That then had doubled to 30 grand in 2018. We raised 45,000 in 2019. So I mean, it just snowballed. And the more of those shoots I did, I would have people ask me if I could come to other parts of the state And at that point, I was still working as simply a volunteer for the local honor flight chapter. So I didn't really have a lot of say in what I could do.
Sure.
So at that point, I started the foundation, and then something else that's very near and dear to me is the 22 veterans a day that commit suicide.
Yep.
And so we partnered with 3 other organizations that their exclusive purpose is to get servicemen and women out hunting and fishing to help combat PTSD.
No, that good for you. It's near and dear to my heart too. My brother is a retired special operations operator out of the Army, and so he's the chairman of a foundation called Task Force Dagger, and it's one that focuses on special operations, members, soft community, and their families. And so they have several things that they do, for that community. And one of the things that we just got back from a rehabilitative standpoint is down in the Keys. We took 13 families, 13 special operations members and their families, and got them dive certified through the Key West Special Forces Dive School, and have a week long of, counseling and, all different kinds of resources to help them connect again as a family, because it's not just the member, but it's their family that's affected, with these soldiers and these heroes. And so, like yourself, I praise that work you do, and I have a very small part of it in with my brother and that organization. And it's just good work that needs to be done.
No, and I appreciate that. And I mean, I push the recognition away as much as I appreciate hearing it. My whole thing is that, I want to raise awareness for this.
Sure.
Our outdoor community is very passionate about our veterans. And so I just want to become an example for other people to say, hey, that's pretty cool. I can do that. And
yeah.
So we take the first 22% that we raise every year right off the top and divide it to those 3 organizations. And the stories that you hear coming out of there, the one based here in Wisconsin, there was a gentleman that was in the service, came in for a turkey hunt, and he was essentially going to go home and commit suicide. And he fortunately had a successful turkey hunt, and told the folks that hosted that when he got on the plane, he said, I wasn't planning on being around when I got home, and you guys basically saved my life with this turkey hunt. So, if we can have one story, whether I get to do this for another year or another 50, it's going to make it all worth it. So it's
no question, Chris. And again, good for you guys in doing that. And, that's the beautiful thing about the outdoor community. It's so much more than just going out and harvesting an animal. It's the time in the outdoors. It's friends, family, it's kids, and then it's these other things that people that don't have the opportunity to experience that. It changes them. And we also do some turkey hunts and some hog hunts for these veterans that are part of the foundation. And I had an opportunity to take 3 guys turkey hunting 2 years ago, and never turkey hunted in their life. And Chris, we were down in Florida, and we were army calling in some Osceolas, and these guys had the time of their lives. And it was like, for us, it was no big deal. That's what we do. We love it. And, for them, to crawl out on a pasture and a ditch bank and call in these gobblers and have them shoot one of them from the prone position and just different stuff like that. It was just very heartwarming to have them experience, and they've fought some of the most dangerous battles, we could ever imagine. But to then do something what we think is so, simple and sometimes take for granted. It was like, it was awesome to just see how excited they were to do that.
Yeah. And I haven't dove into the hunt side of things yet, but our primary fundraising mechanism for HHA USA is putting on archery shoots around the state of Wisconsin. In fact, I have another one this weekend, and I've got a veteran flying in from San Antonio, Texas. His friend is flying in from DC. This is actually their second shoot this year.
Nice.
Got, pro staff coming in from Georgia, from Michigan, from California. And it's amazing to see what God will do with something when you basically just say, this is yours. I'm just here to serve you. You do with it what you please. And it's, like I said, I'm just humbled to be sitting in this chair. And like I tell the veterans, I said, I didn't serve, but now I'm here to serve.
Sure.
Serve those that served me. So it's my passion. It's why I get out of bed in the morning. Granted, I have a business to run, and that's priority number one, but it's nice to have a focus on something that isn't the guy in the mirror.
Amen. Good for you. Good for you. Well, listen, great stuff. And I just encourage everybody to check out the HHA US Foundation. and learn a little bit more how they could contribute. And so at the end, Chris, let's make sure that we give people a sense of, the website or, any social media that people can go to connect on that and to be a part of it and some of the other things. But I want to jump into this fall. I mean, it's July. Before we know it, we're going to be in September. We got, hunting right around the corner. What are some of the hunts that you've got planned or some of the people around you that you're getting really fired up about?
Yeah, that's a question I get quite a bit. I mean, everybody thinks, oh, he's one of the owners of HHA. He must have this huge trophy room. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. I think I might have maybe 3 times the heads on the wall that you've got, but my biggest one isn't as big as the one off your left shoulder. So,
gotcha. Yeah. Those are some 2 Canadian bucks.
Yeah, no, those are some studs.
Thank you.
I traveled so much for HHA when we were in our growing years, from the time I got out, even in high school. I mean, I was going to the ATA show when I was 12, 13, 14 years old. So I did that for almost 25 years, and it wore me out after a while. And so I just got to the point where I don't really like to travel to hunt.
Yeah.
So I know I'm giving you kind of a long answer here, but I've been fortunate enough to have what was 80. Now I purchased the neighbor's land, but basically have 160 acres, 15 minutes from where I'm sitting.
Nice.
And I 2 years ago, unfortunately, it wasn't with a bow, so I couldn't put it in the HHA catalog, but that's okay. But I killed my biggest buck today. It was a 153-inch 10-pointer.
Nice. Good for you.
Gun season, and I've got my target buck from last year just resurfaced here about 10 days ago. So
good.
He's back along with a few of the others. And so, yeah, being in the outdoor industry, that once July 4th hits, you blink and it's all of a sudden it's opening day of deer season. So
sure. No, absolutely.
Thankfully, I've got 4 more archery shoots, 4 more weekends of out pounding 3D with some veterans and some of my friends and my volunteers that'll hopefully get me honed in and maybe I can come back on or send you guys a picture of my target buck this year. So
absolutely, that would be super cool. Look, some of my most cherished hunts are right around the corner or close to home, and I've got a farm here in Georgia that it's not a big farm. It's 30, 40 acres, kind of suburban type of, farm. And, there's some good deer on it. And it's just nice sometimes to be able to just drive 10, 15 minutes and, hunt in your backyard, if you will. And, and just get out there on those afternoons. So I'm right there with you. I mean, look, we travel quite a bit for the show. And over the years, some of the work I've done, I've had the opportunity to travel, across North America and do some neat stuff. But like you said, sometimes there's nothing better than just, getting in your truck and driving 10, 15 minutes and going hunting near home.
Yeah, no, I've become a homebody in my old age, and it's nice when I'm leaving my farm, I can text my wife and by the time I get home, she's got the chili going. So that's pretty hard to top that. So
there you go. Well, listen, we also have a lease, a big lease down in Florida. So I grew up in Florida, and the best friend and the other host of our show, Game Changers, he and I grew up hunting in Florida, deer, hog, bow fishing, spear fishing, turkey hunting. And, we do other stuff, but, we finally got a really good lease down on the Deseret Ranch down there. So if you ever want to go, hunt an Osceola or, hunt some hogs or even a Florida deer, do something different. People I think don't maybe sometimes appreciate the amount of quality animals, especially in a managed situation like, we have on the Deseret Ranch that, some really good hunting and, we gator hunt and, we do all kinds of stuff. But, when it comes to some solid deer and some good hogs and turkeys, we got them.
Well, I'm smelling maybe a partnership between HHA Sports, HHA USA, SPYPOINT. Maybe we throw a little NASCAR in there too.
I think so too, man. Absolutely.
I don't know how far you are from the coast. Maybe we go out and do a little fishing. So
we're big fishermen. We can do the trifecta.
I like it. Well, one more thing to put on my list.
Absolutely. Well, that's really good, and we will definitely do that. So, anything else in the pipeline from a product standpoint, as far as a teaser? Maybe it's a couple years down the road that you guys are working on some technology or some innovation that will continue. Now, I know some of those things you can't spill all the beans, but anything, that's just a little bit out on the horizon to give people a teaser of what may be, coming, that may be some game changing type of technology in the archery industry.
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that word game changer. It feels like it gets overused. Everybody's got a game changing product. If that's the case, there'd be 1,000 iPhones and there's only one. But in all seriousness, though, I mean, we're going to continue obviously to innovate on the site side and would like to get possibly another rest out on the market. And now that we've got these stabilizers that have been successful, we're going to be able to build off of that. The sky is really the limit for us. And I say that, as humbly as possible, but we've obviously proven that we can be very successful on the sites, and our philosophy hasn't changed. Even though our founder is gone, all of his founding principles are still here.
Sure.
And so that's something that we definitely stand behind, and we're excited for the future. And I think there's a lot of good things that can happen, and something we rely on. I mean, we rely on feedback from customers through social media, through email, through going to dealer shows and talking to our dealers. So we're open. So I mean, if there's a hole out there in a product category that some of our fans would like to say, man, I wish HHA made one of these, we'd love to hear it, because we're fully capable of making products with the best of them, and we're going to be here for a while, and we'd love to hear from them. So.
No, that's good. And so listen, now that you bring that up, what I would encourage, people that are listening right now is, post and share the products that maybe a picture of the HHA site that you have on your bow, or, the stabilizer, and share some hunting pictures and just some product success stories. And if you do have some ideas, as Chris just said, that, you think would be helpful to you, or to, add into your setup, let's share some ideas, and, you can post and share them, right now. So thanks for that tee up, Chris, and maybe get some ideas for you guys to bring something new to the market.
Sounds good. I mean, I don't say that as a plea by any means.
No, not at all. But listen,
we've got 2 or 3 years worth of new. Yeah, we've got several years worth of new products in the arsenal that we just haven't rolled out yet. So it's kind of a luxury to have that stuff there. But at the same time, we're always up for new adventures and new avenues. So.
No, listen, I mean, sometimes these ideas and tweaks are something from people, that use your product every day, is good. And the fact you're just willing to, listen and take feedback, I think says a lot. Because again, not a lot of companies are willing to, be receptive to, feedback and ideas. And it goes back to your whole approach of the customer service, and you're confident in your products and they speak for themselves. But look, if you're willing to listen and, absorb information, that just makes everybody stronger.
No, I agree with that 100%. I mean, we don't know everything. We're very good at what we do, and we say that humbly, and we've been around for 38 years, but it hasn't been all ideas that came out of our heads. So
no, and listen, most of the time it's not, but you guys are willing to listen and take those and run with them. So let's talk about where people can get more information, about the company, about, the technology, whether it's YouTube, social media, and then absolutely about the foundation. I want people to be able to, look that up and see how they can participate in all those things. So break it down, seriously by, YouTube page, websites, social media, all that. Let's get it all out there for people.
You bet. So, I mean, our for-profit business, HHA Sports, you're going to find all of our gear on there. And this was just ironic that I happened to be wearing an HHA shirt today. It was the first one that was on the pile. So
there you go.
Got a great line of apparel on there as well. That's just hhasports.com. And then we're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube on that side of things. And then on the nonprofit side, HHAUSA.org is going to be our website. For folks that are located in Wisconsin, we've got all of our events posted on there. We're four in, we've got 4 left. And I got a guy flying in from California. So, hey, just because you're not in Wisconsin doesn't mean you can't come to one of our shoots and support our veterans. So, and then we're on Instagram and Facebook on there as well. So,
okay. Where are these shoots going to be held at? Which states? Are they all in the Wisconsin area, or are they going to be across the country?
Everything as it stands right now is taking place in Wisconsin. That's where our 501c3 is good for. So, I mean, just with the way that it's taking off here, I can see it expanding to other states at some point. But as of right now, they're all located in Wisconsin. So we have 8 shoots this year, and we have 9 on the docket for next year. I'll throw one teaser out there. We have a pretty cool shoot coming in 2022 that I think if people didn't want to come to Wisconsin for it before this, I think when they see this announcement this fall, they'll probably be showing up. So
okay, good deal. Yeah. And I'm just going to ask on the retail side of things, if I wanted to go and purchase, a new site, is it, just through, your HHA website, or there's some major retailers that you have affiliations and partners with? So just so people can have an idea of where to be able to find some of your products if they want to purchase them for this fall.
Sure. Yeah, no, I mean, we just started dabbling into the e-com 2 or 3 years ago. So, I mean, we built our business and our brand on dealer loyalty.
Yep.
And that's where it still lies. But, 3-4 years ago, and well, I guess e-commerce has been going for longer than that, but we decided it was time that we should get in on that as well. So you can buy our products on our website, but then we have a dealer locator on there as well, and have an amazing network of dealers all across the country. We also sell the Bass Pro and Cabela's, so Shields. So, I mean, pretty much all of the major retailers, you're going to be able to find them. And if you can't, you can order right direct off our website. So
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to make it easy so people know, where they can go find it. And, obviously the retailers are a key component. You name some, really big ones and popular ones, but, they can go right to your website as well if they want to purchase things. And then I would assume you have on your YouTube page different types of videos and instructional how-tos and different things that people could view and just, absorb some of that content if they want to learn a little bit more, rather than reading, watch a video on your products.
you bet. Yeah, I mean, we're still putting paper instructions in our products for the foreseeable future, but obviously that day is coming to an end sooner than later. So yeah, all those are on YouTube, and they're also each individual product page pretty much has those instructional videos on the website as well. So
Perfect. Okay. Well, good. Anything else, Chris, that you want to throw out there, for the audience to be able to, walk away with today? It's been a great discussion. And I think for me to be able to learn more about, the history and the legacy from your father and to yourself and the rest of the family and, and employees, it's a great story and obviously a great company that makes incredible products.
well, we appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words on behalf of myself and then the family and all of our family of HHA employees. So yeah, probably just two more short things. When we talked about buying off the website, one thing that we do, being that we do have a heart for veterans, is we do have a 25% military discount that's available
Nice. Okay.
to veterans and first responders. So there's a tab on there on the website to look that up. That link actually comes right to me. So even though I'm the owner of one of the owners of the company, I'll be responding directly to any veteran or first responder that's looking for
that's
that
really
discount from us. So
that's great.
And then I actually started my own podcast for HHA USA here about 6 weeks ago. So we'll have to do some role reversal.
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear more about this trip you went on to Florida with the veterans. I would love to have you on and
Sure.
chat about that. So yeah, the HHA USA podcast is available pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts, and I'm having a lot of fun with that and changing lives. I mean, there's some powerful stories that have come out just in this first handful of episodes with some of the veterans and the life change that those guys went through. So in fact, one of them's flying back up here this weekend to shoot with us. So
no, listen, and if you wanted, I could get my brother, to maybe join me. I mean, like I said, he's a 21-year, special operations veteran, has seen, and experienced a lot of things, in the military and in this world. And, he's very passionate about, as the chairman of Task Force Dagger. So, any way between the two of us or, one of us, happy to participate and, bring continued awareness to our military men and women.
that would be awesome. I'd be honored to have you guys on, because I mean, that's one thing that, during COVID last year, it's like, how can I grow this thing without having to leave my couch? And I don't mean that in a selfish sense, but
No, absolutely.
Having a business to run and then putting on 8 archery shoots a year. I like to be at home when I can. And I mean, I have these conversations throughout the week. So it's like, why not record them and put them out there for the world to hear? And we're just getting started on it. It's been a lot of fun, but at the same time, there's some powerful testimonies coming out about what these men and hopefully women, will have some females on the podcast as well. But just great to be able to put that out there for the public to listen to and give support to our veterans.
No, good deal. Well, listen, Chris, I think that does it for us today. On this particular episode of the SPYPOINT Podcast, a great discussion. And, I really appreciate the content and the information. And I would just remind everybody to, subscribe, rate, review, follow all of the SPYPOINT content, on all the different social media platforms. So, Chris, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and definitely we need to link up on, maybe it's a Florida hunt or doing a podcast with you in the near future.
Sounds good. This won't be our last discussion.
Absolutely, my friend. Well, listen, you have a great rest of the week, and God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks a lot. Same to you, Brian.
Take care.
You bet.